All right. So what's up, man? Let me see who's in this room, man. Shout out to everybody. Come on in the room. Everybody come on in here, man. So let's do this thing. Everybody come on in the room. Let's chop this game up as we always do. Got on my Biggie Smalls shirt. Shout out to Biggie Smalls. Got on the Biggie shirt. Oh, man. So what's going on, man? I hope you guys had a prosperous week. I hope everybody had a productive week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in here. All right. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Say the baby got me glowing. Yes, I feel it. And shout out to everybody. Again, thank you for everybody who got some stuff from our baby registry. All right. We still have the baby registry. We have about 20 items left. We had 120, like 123. People got like 102, 103 already. I so appreciate the family, man. Much respect. There's a few more gifts you can get for our newborn baby that's about to be here in a few weeks. We're very excited. My wife is very excited. This is her first girl. You know, I have a daughter, my oldest daughter, who's 22 years old, my beautiful daughter, Taree. Shout out to her. My daughter was with us last week. We went on a little short mini vacay for a couple of days in Central California. We went to the Sequoia Park, and then we went to Allensworth, and I talked about that last week. Oh yeah, the link for the baby registry is right there below. You look below, it's the Amazon baby registry. You click that link, there's about 20 more items. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's our baby girl. I haven't had a girl in a long time. We got a house full of boys, so this is going to be very interesting. My wife is buying so much pink stuff. If you look in the registry, it's all pink everything. My wife just couldn't wait to get girly stuff. So we got that going on. So look, we got the link right there, the Amazon link. You guys can go there and gift our newborn, soon to be newborn, little quote Nisha. So we're very excited about that. Y'all, share the link for the broadcast, by the way. Y'all put this on your social media. You know how they do. Sometimes they do little shadow bans and sometimes they play little games. So I'm going to need the family. I'm going to need you to share this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Share the broadcast. Okay? Put it on your social media. And while you're doing that, I'm going to need you to also hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button, make that subscribe button do what it do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm almost at 200,000 people on my Twitter, not Twitter, on my YouTube. I'm almost at 200,000, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get those subscribe numbers up. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers, and that will be an amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight, what we're talking about the tethering of our history. We're talking about how foundational Black American history is tethered, is being tethered. They have to tether on people to foundational Black American history. If you go to our Twitter spaces, boy, there's been a lot of house cleaning when it comes to dealing with those in the diaspora. We've been doing a lot of house cleaning because we got some serious business to do with these white supremacists. And in order to replace the system of white supremacy with justice and Black empowerment, we have to make sure everybody's on code. And we have to understand the people who are not on code, they have to be identified and they have to be excommunicated from our circles. And that's what we're doing now. And what we're doing, we have a great movement going on. We, as foundational Black Americans, we are causing the needles to move because we've done something that we've not done in a long time. We have identified our specific group. And because we've identified our specific group, a lot of people are on notice right now, and a lot of people are scrambling, ladies and gentlemen. People are scrambling more than ever now, because people understood that we are a different ethnic group, but they played on our desire as foundational Black Americans to be unified with all Black people. We're the only group who's been trying to lock hands, and we shared all of our history and our lineage and our accomplishments with other groups. In fact, we almost give away our accomplishments as foundational Black Americans. We sit here and give all of these groups credit for the stuff that we actually did, to our chagrin. And we've done that to the point where other groups turn around and tell us that we do not have a culture. And the thing is, we are really the only group that has a culture that's significant and relevant. Not to disrespect any group, but family, we as foundational Black Americans, we are the culture of the land that people run to. People run here. We are the culture of this land. Not only are we the culture, we are the builders of this land. Let's be very clear. We are not immigrants in any sense of the word. We are indigenous to the United States of America. Some of us are indigenous to North America, but all foundational Black Americans are indigenous to the United States of America. What does that mean? People think, is that a Native American? Native Americans are not indigenous to the United States of America. The red-skinned Native Americans, that's who I'm speaking of. Remember, you have two groups, the red-skinned Native Americans and the Black Aboriginal people. The Black Aboriginal people were on this land way before the red-skinned Mongolian Native Americans. But putting that aside, the United States, we, foundational Black Americans, are indigenous to the United States. Native Americans, the red ones, are not, because they didn't build the United States. They had no input in the building of the United States, the red Mongolian Native Americans. It was foundational Black Americans are the people who eventually became foundational Black Americans. We were the ones who built this country from scratch. That's the thing that makes us more unique than any group. Don't ever let a group come around us talking about how, well, everybody contributed. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We are the ones who are indigenous to the United States because we are the ones who built it from scratch. I mean, from the mud. There was no United States. We built the original bridges and the ditches and the buildings and the streets and the railroads. That was foundational Black Americans, growing the crops, growing the harvest, taming the animals, tilling the soil. That was foundational Black Americans. White people cannot even make that claim, even though they had the gun and the whip on us. They didn't do the building. We did. Let's be very clear. And I always point out when the white supremacists tried to do it on their own, beforehand, before we were put in place to make it happen, they failed several times. They could not and they did not do it on their own. Don't ever let that fact escape you. We are indigenous to this land. We have a unique claim to this land. We are not foreigners. And we're not guests on our own land, which is what they try to make us out to be. Now, we have been occupied by the white supremacists. We're occupied by an alien threat. That's what the white supremacists are. They are an alien threat, and they've occupied the planet, ladies and gentlemen. But that doesn't negate our accomplishments as foundational Black Americans. Other groups come over and they play these games, and if y'all listen to our Twitter live sessions, you will hear a lot of the tether classes. That means the degenerate classes of the immigrant groups, because all people from these immigrant groups are not with a tether mindset. We do have some riders, but we have to do some straightening with that tether class who come over and try to say things to us like we don't have a culture. You foundational Black Americans don't have a culture, yet when you ask them what is their culture, they get to babbling and splaining. They know they don't have a culture. We're going to talk real tonight. Other groups don't really have a culture. Well, our language, okay. You have a native language, we have a language. The Tut language is foundational Black American language. And when we were using it during antebellum slavery, we used it in private so that people would not understand what we were saying. And today, we still use it in private. We don't go around bragging about it to you. We use that secret language now to communicate with each other in many circles. In our FBA room, we have a forum, a closed forum, a private forum on Facebook, a private room. In order to even get in the room, we have a Tutnese question that you have to decipher and answer to even get in the room. We still talk about that language and talk to each other in private. Certain words we'll give you. Aratasase, that's going to be the name of a holiday we're going to be celebrating later this year, ladies and gentlemen. So we do have a culture of language. So what else you got? Well, our food. From the looks of some of the people starving, I wouldn't brag about that. If you look at some of these homelands, the people are pretty hungry. I wouldn't brag about no damn food being a part of your culture. And your people, your grown people are running around starving. No disrespect, not disrespecting anybody. We're going to just talk real tonight. We got to get this whole culture thing together. And see, this is the thing that's made us foundational Black Americans so powerful. And this is what's making the political needle move. And I've told people this before. Before we do anything, before we even try to touch the political arena or any other arena, we have to get the culture sorted out of foundational Black Americans. And that's what we're doing. Once we get an understanding and a clear grasp of our culture, everything else is going to fall into place. And that's what's happening now. Once we understand who's who, what we've done and what our culture is, we're going to start subliminally acting in ways to protect that culture and work in the same best interests of that culture. The problem is, up until this point, we thought that we were on some big global African brotherhood worldwide, which is idealistic. It's not realistic. So we sat here trying to be on some, hey, we're all universal African brothers and sisters. We're going in here trying to cape for everybody, and it benefits other people, but it doesn't benefit us. They'll go along with it as long as they're getting something out the deal. Oh yeah, yes, brother, we're all universal people, African people together. So let me get some of those resources. So what happens is we're on some, yes, we all in this together, let's all help each other. What we end up doing is carrying other groups. And then once we carry them to where they need to be, to a safe space to where they're eating good, all of a sudden, how come you Akatas don't work hard? You niggas are lazy. You're lazy Akata. I'm a lazy Akata. I just broke my back carrying you. You understand? We help all these people and then they turn on us and then start showing disrespect and then start projecting their failed mentality and scamming mentality. We get a lot of that, ladies and gentlemen. When we got the money for the museum, we saw a lot of them show their true colors. Now, there were some non-FBA people who contributed, but when we got the money for the museum, and we're still working on the museum thing, by the way, family, you know how they are out here in California, especially Los Angeles. We're going through some Los Angeles stuff. Out there, we're trying to get the place on the Crenshaw, Leimert Park area. If you know anything about that area, Black people don't own any of the real estate, the commercial real estate. We just don't own it out there. And that's by design. Everybody who has businesses out there are leasing from the white people who own the place. But when you start trying to own that stuff, the real white people, you have to deal with the real white people. And that's what we're dealing with now. All right? We're dealing with the real white people that y'all don't know about, the ones who really don't want to sell that real estate to us. We get a whole level of red tape. The last person who actually owned the real estate off Crenshaw was Nipsey, and we saw what happened to Nipsey. All right, Black folks do not own that stuff over there. All right. Black folks don't own that. But we're trying to get that popping now. I really, really want to get it out here. Again, sometimes I look in other cities like Atlanta. There's a couple of spots in Atlanta that would be cool. Atlanta is going to be the second option, which is a push comes to shove. I really, 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 really want it out here. I'm just thinking out loud as far as Atlanta. If push comes to shove, if it gets to the point where they're just stonewalling us out here, I will have to get it in Atlanta. That's a push comes to shove scenario, which I don't want to do because my family, I don't like to be away from my family. I'm real big on family, and we got a new baby, so I don't really want to be away from the family. No, in Atlanta, dude, there's spots in Atlanta that I can just go get right now. There's a bunch of spots, man. We go down to Atlanta, get that stuff refurbished. We'll get it popping down in Atlanta. But again, I don't really want to have to, go back and forth and just, I really, really want it out here. It's very important, and I really want it on the Crenshaw area. Someone said Atlanta would be good. Atlanta would be good. It would be good. But again, I really want to get it out here. Atlanta I can get it overnight in Atlanta. But I really want it out here. I really, really want it out here. The first one has to be out here. I really want to be it out here. But we'll get it. We're not tripping. We're going to work and do what we do. But even when we start getting the money, all the tethers start coming out. Where's the museum, nigga? Hey, nigga, where's the museum, nigga? This sound like a scam, nigga. Projecting their scam mentality. That's what I don't like about tethers. They stay projecting their scam mentality, and us getting that money showed how codified we were. Us raising that type of money that quickly showed how codified we were as foundational Black Americans, and getting it without kissing up to the white supremacists. Tethers, they look at that as almost blasphemy. You get all that money without sucking up to white people? Are these niggas magic? That's almost impossible in their minds to get that kind of money without having to suck up to the white supremacists, because a lot of tethers, that's all they know. So in order for them to get money like that without sucking up to the white supremacists, they have to scam. And they come over here pulling their same scams. I'm not trying to beat up on people. We're just putting everything in context. There's a story somebody sent me the other day. And, we get a lot of these Somalian Sambos who call up trying to talk greasy. They really have a lot of vitriol towards foundational Black Americans. But right here as an example, there's one lady, Somalian chick out here in Los Angeles, who's been out here scamming people. Sophia Noor. She allegedly scammed influencers and faked a Jack Harlow pregnancy. This woman right here, a Somalian woman, who's infamous out here, allegedly, she's been out here scamming people. They're trying to find her now. This woman here, she's a Somalian lady who's been out here scamming left and right. These folks come around as she was acting as a publicist, and she was defrauding several Los Angeles influencers. Also, she was faking a pregnancy. So this woman was out here finessing everybody. All right, this is what I'm talking about. They had a hashtag about her surviving Sophia. Somebody said she's my cousin and she scammed me and my friends. She even scammed her own family. Her own Somalian family, she scammed them. So these people, when they start talking about we're scamming and just making up these scam lies about us, remember, these are projections, ladies and gentlemen. These are projections. These are projections. So listen, we are the culture. These folks had to flee from what little failed culture they had. They come over here, disrespecting, and then they have to tether themselves onto our culture, ladies and gentlemen. They have to tether themselves onto us. And I find it very disrespectful. Now, they got Ketanji Brown, the Democrats and the left-wingers, they've been trying to pump her up and make her a thing. They've been trying to pump her up, this Ketanji Brown. And somebody, they keep trying to make this seem like some kind of win for Black people. It is not a win for us in any sense of the word, ladies and gentlemen. And somebody put together this disrespectful image on a shirt. Some of these left-wingers, some of these Democrat Negroes, they put this out. They're going to start doing share. Remember, they did something similar with Kamala. Now they're doubling down on the tethering. Rosa sat so Ruby could walk, so Kamala could run, so Ketanji could rule. If y'all don't sit y'all asses down somewhere, please don't disrespect our foundational Black American icons with these mammy tethers. I'm very offended by this. Kamala and Ketanji don't have nothing to do with Ruby and Rosa. Rosa Parks was almost attacked by a white man, a white supremacist, trying to sexually assault her, trying to turn her into a bedwench. Rosa Parks fought against that. These other two mammies are willing bedwenches. Please don't compare them to our foundational Black American icons. Rosa Parks was nobody's bedwench. All right? Ruby and Rosa, that's our history. Our little Ruby, 6 years old, had to be protected by federal troops walking into the belly of the beast against these vile, violent white supremacists. She wasn't trying to get a date like Kamala and Ketanji. Don't compare our beautiful riders, our icons, our FBA sisters to bedwenches, to non-FBA bedwenches. And Ketanji, I don't know what her background is. I'm hearing so many different reports. She's kind of secretive a little bit about her background. I'm hearing she might be non-FBA. Nobody really knows what her background is. She claims she throws the word slavery around or whatever. Nobody really knows what Ketanji's get down is. See, this is why we done made the block hot as far as people in their lineage. A lot of people up here hiding their lineage now because we're lineage checking people. We are lineage checking. So a lot of people are keeping that lineage. They're keeping it quiet now because we done made the game hot for that. We don't want people acting as our spokespersons and you come from a different lineage. Because most likely you're going to have dual allegiances. You're going to have an allegiance to immigration or even the dominant white society. And we have different allegiances. Because, and this is another thing, watch out for these people that they keep parading around us. Some of these new activists that y'all been seeing, I've seen a couple of them. I've seen a couple of these new activists that they got. This one dude who's going up against Amazon or whatever, I forgot what his name is. Watch this dude. This ain't no real grassroots dude. And there's another chick I saw. I'm not going to give these people any shine, but she was running around, I think at Howard University, talking about there's black dad and student loan debt cancellation and all this, and she's Jamaican. See, I've been looking at some of these people's background. When the white media, they're starting to give some of these people some shine and we don't know nothing about them. They don't come from the grassroots. They start talking black, and start yelling and cursing. That's another thing that gives it away. When I see these people yelling and cursing and all this stuff, trying to sound hood and extra black, and then all of a sudden they start talking about black trans and all of this other stuff. No. Uh-oh. And all of a sudden they start black. Here's my Cash App. Black jive turkey, black sucker. Here's my Cash App. We got to watch that. We don't know these people. We don't know these people, ladies and gentlemen. We have to question all of these people's background. And when you start looking at these weird people that nobody knows, and you start looking into their background, you start seeing the truth. Like, oh, okay. I see. Oh, I see your get down. You are a foreign tether. Okay? We got to watch these people, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? But them tethering themselves onto our history, we got to keep our eyes on these people because they have no real history. that is significant, or no real culture that's significant. So they have to latch themselves onto the riders. No disrespect, and I'm not saying this to disrespect anybody, but we just got to do some house cleaning, ladies and gentlemen. We got to do some real house cleaning out here, man. We don't have time to play games with folks. We don't have time to play games. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Nas Escobar. Let me show Nas Escobar's page. Let me show y'all some of these people. All right, this brother right here, I'm not trying to diss this brother, but my man Nas Escobar, and y'all follow my brother Nas Escobar, not the rapper Nas, but he's a brother. This brother's an activist, very thorough brother. He was like, yeah, this guy about the Amazon Union guy, Christian Smalls. Yeah, this guy has a lot of the Black Lives Matter paraphernalia on. All right. And this woman right here, this is another one. And she's another one they've been putting out there. The white folks been pumping her up. She goes out there talking black, black, black. And this woman has kind of said some things, kind of funny style, about Foundation of Black Americans. You see, she has a Black Trans Matter. Now, this is her talking. Hold on, listen to this. Hold on.
Black women hold the most student loan debt out of any demographic group. And we also support 80% of the black households in America. Solely or mainly. So when we're talking about cancellation of student loan debt, we're talking about radically thinking about what it looks like to put financial power.
Okay, when y'all, this right here is not grassroots. Okay, and this woman is Jamaican, by the way. All right? So I'm looking at these people, they're popping up. You know, they got them with braids and, you know, with the nose rings and all that, talking black, black, black. And then they start using these real weird talking points. They start using with black women and student loan debt, student loan and black trans. And these are not grassroots, family. These are not grassroots people. These are white supremacist liberal think tanks. And these LGBT think tanks getting these people. And they make sure they get immigrants. They make sure they get immigrants because they understand that these immigrants are not going to have no real camaraderie with us. And then they're going to come out there with all that gender divide nonsense. Women, 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 all women and black trans, and give me some Cash App money. No, we're not playing that game. You're not going to be our representative. You're not our representative. You cannot speak for us. You cannot speak for us. Watch these people. They're not grassroots. Remember, they got to get a whole new crop of new tethers now because we've neutralized the impact of some of the old tethers. D-Ray McKesson, his name is Mud. D-Ray can't even go nowhere and do a speech no more. All those folks who are out there finessing in Ferguson, we've neutralized their BS. Yeah, they got these new people. Watch them. They got a whole crop of new ones that they're trying to groom and slowly put out there. Keep your eyes open on these new tethers. All right? Y'all better keep your eyes open. There's a whole crop of them that's coming out there. All right? Her name, what's her name? Is Redis Ari or something like that? Hold on. Hold on. This young lady right here. You got to watch these folks. Hold on. All right. Hold on one second. And look right here, because she's been saying some things. American descendants of slaves is xenophobic. That's her right there. So yeah, these people are already on the take, family. So you got to watch these people, ladies and gentlemen. We got to be very serious. We got to have our eyes open all the time out here. This is not a joke. We cannot have these non-FBA people act as our spokespersons because they are going to undermine us. And they keep trying to tether them to our history. They have nothing to do with our history, ladies and gentlemen. They have nothing to do with our history. And all of this bedwenching that they're doing now, it's disrespectful to even compare the great Rosa Parks to these bedwenches. I'm very offended by that. But we got to understand this. And these other tethers that they prop up to act as our spokespersons, and they put them in certain political positions. What's that judge out there? What's her name? The Winsome Earl Sears, that Jamaican lieutenant governor. All right? That Jamaican lieutenant governor. Now, I posted this before. Remember her? Now, the other day, last week, She was all up in the Holocaust Museum. This is her right here. Equally sombering and full of hope, the VA Holocaust Museum tells the story of those who survived the Holocaust. 1.5 million children were annihilated simply for being Jewish. May we never forget. This is her right here. May we never forget that. But when it comes, and this woman is Jamaican, but when it comes to foundational Black Americans, Virginia's first Black lieutenant governor said, we need to move on from slavery. She's telling us we need to move the hell on. So the white folks don't forget, but us, y'all niggas move on. This is why these folks cannot be our representatives, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want these folks being our representatives. They cannot be our representatives at all. They have dual allegiances. Their allegiance is to white supremacy and against us. It's never a win just because there's a black face up there. Putting a black face up there saying, hey, this is a win because we have a black person in a tokenized position, that means nothing if that black face don't have a black agenda. I would rather a white person be there so we know we're dealing with white supremacy. I don't want a puppet of white supremacy. You have a black face with white supremacy in the back moving their mouths. Just put the white supremacists there. That's better. But these folks are so damn disrespectful when it comes to coming around us. Let me play this clip. I played the audio the other day, but let me play this clip of this dude. He was doing an interview on the soft white underbelly, and he's I think Tanzanian immigrant. And listen how he talks about how foundational Black Americans don't do nothing for Africa, but white people do. Hold on, listen to this.
People in Africa, you get more white people coming and support Africa than black people out here. People having more fans out there, more funds, like, even in documentaries, you see this on YouTube. Feel me? These people talk about all this daycare and all these all these things they say and act like they really do on the cameras, but they don't, man. You get these white people that go, man. Some of them, they're not even that rich. You feel me? They just take a trip out there. And they change people's life out there, man. For the low they have. It can be, man, a person working at Walgreens. Feel me? Just get his checks together and he can go back home and really make an impact to those people, man. I do because I see these blogs, man. I follow these people on YouTube. I see what they're doing. And I respect that.
Okay. I found this particularly disrespectful. Number one, I'm going to make two very interesting points. Number one, I'm going to make 3 points, 3 interesting points. I'm going to make 3 points in response to that. Number one, foundational Black Americans are always doing things to help Africa. Many of the movements that happen in Africa, foundational Black Americans were the ones starting the movements. A lot of the revolutionary movements, it was foundational Black Americans going out there planting the seed of some of those revolutionary movements. Some of the freedom struggles, it was foundational Black Americans. With apartheid in Africa, in South Africa, it was foundational Black Americans boycotting some of those venues out there in South Africa, letting the world know we're not going to play places like Sun City and other places that's practicing apartheid against the people. It was foundational Black Americans standing up to that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was foundational Black Americans riding for Mandela. Or it was foundational Black Americans putting in work, upholding many movements out there. It was foundational Black Americans holding up the history of Africa. Foundational Black Americans, John Henry Clark, Ashra Kwesi, Anthony Browder, so many foundational Black Americans going over there and keeping the history of Africa alive, elevating Africa. It was foundational Black Americans doing that. It was foundational Black Americans going over there, taking tour groups over there, feeding the economy, showing them some of the ancient artifacts, teaching them some of the history. It was foundational Black Americans doing that. It was foundational Black Americans, myself included, donating to so many different causes over there. Orphanages, myself included. Women's farmers groups, myself, I've donated thousands of dollars to women's farmers in Zimbabwe. We're always donating money, giving. Renoko Rashidi, yes. Doing tours over there, taking Black people over there, feeding the economy there. For this dude to fix his mouth to say that, do y'all know how disrespectful that is? Not only was that disrespectful to turn around and say, you niggas don't do nothing for us, but the white people do. Really, fool? And truth be told, a lot of them have that mentality that it's the white people that's really, really helping them, not us. The white people do more. Fool, y'all have not figured out the con game that the white supremacists run on you. They go over there skinning and grinning, over there giving you a couple of bags of grain or whatever, and then they'll set up shop and then drain all your damn resources and cause you to flee, and you still up here giving them props. You haven't even figured out the con game yet. It's a new millennium now, and you still have not figured out the con game that they done run on you out there. Yeah, Oprah Winfrey, even Oprah had that school out there talking about what we haven't done for them. But the white people, oh, you got to give props. And these are the people that has caused the devastation in your homeland. They're the ones indirectly controlling and devastating your economy. They've controlled you to the point where they control you on autopilot. They don't even have to be there. They're controlling you by remote control. Click, click. They're remote controlling you. Y'all haven't figured that out, and then when you ask them, brother, what's going on in your homeland, man? How come y'all are not getting it together? How come y'all not getting it together over there in your homeland, man? Why are y'all not getting on code with each other, man? It's a bunch of you guys. Y'all can get on code, man. Why are y'all not doing your thing over there? They give you the same answer.
Government, the government, it's the government, it's the government, the government, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government.
It's the government, nigga. It is not white supremacy. It is the government. No way, there's no white people here. There's no white supremacy here at all. It is these niggas in the government. Who do you think controls the government? It's the white supremacists controlling your government leaders. Let's be very clear. And family, here's the third most important point. Here's the third point. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Retweet this broadcast. Share it right now on Twitter. Share it. Here's the kicker. We don't actually owe you anything in Africa. That's the killing part. The fact that you're so arrogant, and not all of you, but just the fact that some of you are so arrogant to even imply that we owe you something, that's equally disrespectful because, let's be clear, y'all sold the few black people who came here. You sold us to the white supremacists. You sold some of us. Many of us were already here. But that 4%, 3 or 4% that came over, you sold them to the white supremacists. You didn't try to come get us. You didn't create a lane, or you didn't create any kind of land allotment to say, hey, if you want to come on back here. You didn't claim nobody. You kind of threw us to the wolves, washed your hands, left us for dead, and then it turned around and bit you in the ass. The same people you sold us to, they turned around and colonized all of you. You understand? It's like a crack mother. You sold your baby for crack to a white trick, then the baby somehow got it together, got strong, and then became somewhat successful relatively. And then the crack mother wants to come back around. Hey, baby, I'm still your mama now. You gotta love me. Come on now, you gotta do it for me. Give me your VCR. I'm your mama. No. No, no, no. We're not playing the crackhead mother thing. If anybody owes something, y'all owe us. That's why the whole concept of anybody, especially from anywhere in Africa, getting some reparations, no, no, no. Because we need to start cracking open those books to see who sold who, what tribe, what village, who did the selling. All right? We need to see who was selling who.
The crackhead mother thing.
My bad, my bad. Yeah, we need to start seeing who sold who, ladies and gentlemen. The game is real out here. See, yeah, we got to clean house, ladies and gentlemen. We have to clean house, and that's what we're doing right now. We are cleaning house, and it's starting here. But we got to understand that we are the culture here, ladies and gentlemen. Foundation of Black Americans, we are the culture. And other people, they just have to tap in and tether to our culture. And we're saying no more. We're saying no more. We're just not with that. Because we're already dealing with the battle out here. We got a lot to deal with out here. Right now, these white supremacists are on the move. They're using a lot of propaganda against us. Like I said, that shooting that happened in New York a few days ago, I told people there's a lot of questionable stuff about that. And I've been telling people, all of these crimes you see in New York, many of these crimes are being manufactured for propaganda reasons. We have to understand. I don't want black people to think that that's far-fetched or that's beneath the white supremacist family. Do y'all know anti-black racism is a $1 trillion industry? Do you realize how much money there is just on a local level in anti-black racism? Family, we got to understand this. Them criminalizing us and making us the face of danger, there's a lot of money in that. And notice, I want y'all to notice something. A lot of that happens. You're seeing it happen in two places mainly. You're seeing it happen in the San Francisco Bay Area of California and in New York. Now, why those two places? These are supposed to be liberal places. And both of these liberal places were hit hard with the protest and the defunding movement. So a lot of their money was tapped into. So now they're using propaganda to get their money back even stronger than ever. So you'll see a lot of stuff in San Francisco, all of these weird anti-Asian crimes where you got black folks who are in clearly staged scenarios, committing these crimes, and they're always committing these crimes right on film. Now, what's unique about San Francisco? Number one, a lot of experiments come out of San Francisco. Number two, around the Bay Area in California, there's a lot of prisons around the Bay Area. Okay? The prison economy is a gazillion-dollar industry. There are a lot of prisons around the Bay, Northern California. You know, they got Pelican Bay, Folsom, San Quentin. Oh, they got a lot of them. A lot of them around the Bay, Northern California. A lot of prisons. I want y'all to understand this. In New York, the prison game in New York, there's a lot of money in the New York prison game. They make billions of dollars in New York alone with the prisons out there. All right? Now, here's the thing. Yeah, Tracy prison, yeah. Yeah, listen to me. There's a lot of prisons around the Bay Area. And the prison economy in New York is heavy. Here's the thing. You got these prisons that are designed to bring in billions of dollars every year. They have to feed the prison system. Alcatraz, real talk. It's not functioning, but you feel what I'm saying. Solano County. But they got to feed that prison system. Black people, contrary to propaganda, black people are not committing a lot of crimes. That's why they always have to point to Chicago. Whenever they talk about black crime, they always got to mention Chicago. But outside of Chicago, black people are not committing a lot of crimes. But they have to justify criminalizing us. They have to justify it. They have to feed those prisons. You got stockholders, you got these people, man, you gotta feed these prisons. You gotta have criminals. So part of white supremacy, you can't criminalize white people because that'll make everything crumble. Too many white people will fight against it. You got white people doing all these rapes. That's why they're trying to decriminalize rape and pedophilia so that these white folks won't be fed into the prison system. This is why they're decriminalizing drugs, meth, and fentanyl, where all these white people are doing it. You can't criminalize them. But you got to criminalize us. And not only do they make money just housing all of these black people, they make money, especially in New York. They made hundreds of millions of dollars in New York alone just from selling the products that the black people and other inmates produce in the prisons. Understand, they produce products in these prisons. They produce like the hand soap that's used in all the federal buildings in prison. In New York, they produce tissue, all this stuff. Man, it's a gazillion-dollar business. So you have to criminalize people. So you have to justify criminalizing people. So if people are not committing crimes in a place like New York, like you need them to be, if black people are not out here committing crimes, you have to manufacture crimes. It's nothing for them to go get some homeless people and pay them to go commit crimes on camera. Go out here and knock somebody out so that the news can portray this in the media. Oh, look how dangerous these black people are. Now, right after that shooting out there, and they used it as propaganda, right after that shooting, Curtis Sliwa, the founder of the Guardian Angels, who's an anti-black racist, he got on TV and said what I said they were going to say. Listen to this.
Just a continuation. It's like every day. I'm in the subways. It's crawling into the belly of the beast. It's a combination of Dante's Inferno. And remember, Jack Nicholson and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Everywhere, terror reigns. And this mayor has not gotten control of it. It's worse than it was with the prior mayor. And they got to lock down this system. They got to do the things that Rudy Giuliani did to bring this city back from the murder capital of America to the safest big city. And that means stop and frisk. That means traffic stops. That means proactive policing, and they're not doing it. To the safest big city. And that means stop and frisk. That means traffic stops. That means proactive police.
Okay, watch the stop and frisk, proactive police, meaning you just start stepping to people and criminalizing them. Listen, proactive policing means step to black people and escalate a situation until it becomes a crime. All right, that's what proactive policing means. Step to black people, escalate the situation, and then criminalize them. Meaning you step to a black person and start questioning them and then make up a crime. Oops, you're resisting, I gotta arrest you. Stop and frisk, that's where it's all going back to, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, that's where it's going back to. That's what they've been wanting to do anyway. They gotta do that stop and frisk. They have to, it's slave catching, basically. Stop and frisk is slave catching. Stop and frisk, it's slave catching. If you see a black person, because as we know, the last stop and frisk fiasco, it was all black people mostly. Damn that black and brown. It was black people. It wasn't no brown. It was mostly black people they were stopping. And they're trying to justify it now, ladies and gentlemen. They gotta feed that prison system. Black folks, you got to stop going along with people when they're using propaganda against you. You don't go along with people when they use propaganda against you. They are using propaganda to justify slave catching, ladies and gentlemen. That's all this is. This is more slave catching. All right? And the Republicans and the Democrats are all on code with this slave catching. Now, we don't have no friends in the Democrats, the Democratic Party, for example. Look at this. And when it comes to us getting our resources, boy, they're real funny style. Now, this happened out here in, speaking of San Francisco, this happened in San Francisco, in liberal San Francisco. All right? This happened in liberal San Francisco. Hold on one second. Let me get this stuff together real quickly. Let me show y'all some things. There was a brother who had some discrimination against him, some racial discrimination at, what company was he with? Hold on, let me show you the thing here. At Tesla, as a matter of fact. This brother was working for Tesla, and he faced racial discrimination. Hold on. Let me show y'all this guy here. Hold on. Hold on one second. All right. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me show something. Hold on. I want to show y'all something here. I'm going to show y'all your liberals and your progressives and all of that stuff. Hold on one second. So this brother faced discrimination out here. And hold on, let me show y'all something. Hold on one second. Where's this? I'm looking for something. Hold on one second. Let me find something before I go there. I want to have all my receipts ready. All right. Okay, there we go. This is what I'm looking for. All right. So this is this right here. Let me show you. This brother right here. This brother right here. He was working for Tesla, and they were calling him all types of N-words at the job. What's his name? Diaz. His last name is Diaz. Owen Diaz. So this brother right here was being called the N-word. They were saying N-words ain't this, N-words ain't that. So this brother went to court, went to trial. The jury awarded this dude $137 million. Huge payout. The white judge said, oh no. I know what the jury and the court awarded you, but I think that's too excessive. So the white judge, Judge William Orrick of San Francisco, he said, let me slash that. I'm going to slash that $136 million. I'm going to slash that down to just $15 million. Finding the previous verdict excessive. Boy, when it comes to us getting some resources, boy, they know how to jump in there and run interference, right? This is why we need reparations right here. The minute they'll talk all of this symbolic nonsense, but when it comes to tangibles, well, they'll come run interference big time. Now, this guy, this judge, this is this judge here, William Orrick, out there in San Francisco. Now, William Orrick was put on his seat by Barack Obama, ladies and gentlemen. Barack Obama put this guy on his seat. All right, this is your boy Barack. But representation matters, right? So thank you, Barack. This is another L that Barack is giving us, ladies and gentlemen. That's another L that Barack and the Democrats have served us. All they do is serve us L's, ladies and gentlemen. That's all they do. But family, we got to understand the game out here. They'll do all of this symbolic nonsense. And this judge, they got him out there. He's running around talking about police reform this, police reform that. They'll do all of this symbolic nothing burger nonsense. But when it comes time for us to get a real bag, boy, they start running interference big time. That's why we got to be on code as foundational Black Americans, man. We got to be extremely on code, ladies and gentlemen. We got to be hella on code. So us gatekeeping our culture is extremely important. Us gatekeeping our culture is extremely important. Because what happens is we sit here and we allow people to tether on to us and we don't say nothing. And we got to start calling this stuff out. I saw some posts before, and this is another thing about our music. See, we got to start gatekeeping our music again. I saw something where, I don't know if some white supremacists posted this. They were trying to talk about how the Italians' influence on jazz music. See, somebody was also on Twitter talking about how Filipinos contributed to some damn hip hop. We're going to have to gatekeep all of that, ladies and gentlemen. All of the music genres we created, we're just going to have to put that FBA stamp on all of it. And we're going to have to put it on there hard. All right? Family, this is why we have to know history. Let's be very clear. We got to gatekeep everything. No other culture did anything to influence our foundational Black American creations. Nobody created hip hop but us. Yes, they're trying to run around saying some damn Italians created jazz. And that was a lie that they got started in the 1900s, the early 1900s. That was a lie they came up with. And they're trying to reboost that lie. So I'm telling y'all now, if y'all ever hear that lie, shut it on down with facts. They're trying to revamp the Italian started jazz lie. Okay, let's be very clear. We got to clean that up. Now, as we know, jazz started in New Orleans in the 1800s, coming after slavery, after the Civil War. You had a lot of Black people down in New Orleans. There's a couple of things. Let's do some music history real quick. Let's just get it all together. Down in New Orleans, you had a different mixture of things with the Black people that contributed to jazz. You had the Creoles down there who were kind of distancing themselves from Black people, but they were learning how to play the clarinet and certain wind instruments. They were learning how to play formal music. They had these Creole bands. And you also had Black folks who came in from St. Louis who were playing ragtime. They were bringing ragtime down there to New Orleans. Also, after the Civil War, you had a lot of brass instruments left over from the military. Okay? The military army, you know, they would play the trumpets and play the trombone, and they would play these brass instruments for the military. So after the Civil War, all of these instruments are laying around. Black people, former slaves, picked them up, started to learn how to play. They started playing the blues. They started playing gospel with horns and trumpets. They were getting down, and all of this was starting to gel into what would become jazz. Then at the turn of the century, the late 1800s, there was a situation with the Creoles. The Creoles got a wake-up call. The Creoles were like the Coloureds in South Africa, but they got a wake-up call. The Creoles got a wake-up call in the 1890s in a very landmark case. Plessy, what was it? Homer was, what was it? Homer versus Plessy? Which one was it? Was it Plessy versus Ferguson? What was that case? I'm trying to get my history right. I want to get that history. I think it was Plessy versus Ferguson. Yeah, 1896. It was Plessy versus Ferguson. Now, Homer Plessy was a Creole. He thought he could pass for white, and they had implemented the separate but equal law down there, and they were saying that Black people couldn't ride the trains with white people. You had to ride separately. So this Creole, who could kind of pass for white, he tried to, hold on one second, I'm looking at some stuff. Yeah, he tried to test that law. Yeah, Plessy versus Ferguson. Homer Plessy, that's his name. He's Creole. So he tried to get on that train, said, I'm going to test it out. I'm going to get on this train. I look kind of white. So he refused to sit on the car with the Black people. He didn't want to get on the Black car. But I think one of the porters recognized him, like, hey, my nigga, what you doing? You're supposed to be in the back. So they outed him. And then the white folks was like, nah, you got to get your ass back there with the rest of the Negroes. They took that to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, hey, we got to uphold this. You Black, all that Creole stuff, we don't know nothing about that. Your ass is black. Get your light-skinned ass back there with the rest of the Negroes. So overnight, the Creoles, their buffer status got reneged. The Creoles got lumped in with the black folks. So out there, they had to bring their brass instruments. They had to bring their clarinets and all of their formal training to get down with some of those black bands and some of those black people who were formulating what jazz was. All right? They got their Negro wake-up call. So now you got the Creoles and you got the other foundational black Americans all working together now musically. They're putting their instruments together. They're doing their thing and they're formulating jazz. Around the year 1915, there was a jazz player, and I think he might have been a black Creole or whatever, but he was from New Orleans. I think he was from New Orleans, I think. Freddie Keppard. They called him King Keppard. Phenomenal jazz player. They wanted him to make a record in 1915, I think. They wanted him to make a record, King Keppard, because you had jazz artists going on the road doing their thing. You had a lot of folks doing their thing in the early stages of jazz. King Keppard did not want to make a record. It was the Victor Recording Company wanted him to make a record. He didn't want to make a record because he was like, hey, y'all gonna steal my stuff. And he would make his money on the road. So he was like, if I make a record and y'all sell my record, people are gonna steal my style. He was real big on people not stealing his style. He would play and cover his hand so people wouldn't see the notes he was hitting. So he turned them down. He could have been the first person to make a jazz record. So the next year, Victor Records, they went and got another group out of New Orleans, which was a white group with some Italian guys in it. And this group was called the Original Dixieland Jazz Band. And the Original Dixieland Jazz Band, they recorded a tune that was popular among black people in New Orleans. And they recorded the first jazz record. The record blew up. First time jazz was on record. Now these lying ass white supremacists went around the world claiming that they created jazz. See, they went around the world talking about, yeah, we're the creators of jazz music. And then they started doubling down. They were like, jazz is a white man's music. Negroes didn't have nothing to do with it. Do you think Negroes could play like this? So that lie got started with them. And people found out it was a lie later on. They figured out, okay, jazz has been around for a long time. And plus that group fell off. They couldn't maintain any hits like that. So they got outed. You understand? But they were trying to spread that lie then. They were trying to take our culture. They vultured our culture and they were trying to steal it then. So we have to check people. We have to put a gate around our culture because see, the minute we even step in their arena, just like last week, we're talking about those white boys winning the best reggae album at the Grammys. The white boys won the best reggae album. Now they come in and they infiltrate our movements and steal our stuff all the time. But you go around their venues, listen how folks talk. Now listen to this suspected white supremacist talking about Monica and Mackey. I think what's his name? David, I forgot what the brother's name is. He's an actor. His Mackey. I know his last name is Mackey, but they were hosting the Country Music Awards show. Now listen to this suspected white supremacist talk about that. They don't want us around their mix. Now listen to him. This is Patrick Howley talking about Monica and this other black actor hosting the Country Music Awards. Hold on.
This award show was really kind of a train wreck. There was a chick who was co-hosting it, and they said that she tested positive for the Rona. So let's take a look last night.
I know all of you were looking
I don't know who this black guy is who's hosting it. It's supposed to be country music. No offense. I mean, y'all have hip-hop and basketball. You know what I mean?
under the weather,
It's like,
so she couldn't.
just fly with your flock, bro.
So,
Not against you, but you're up here being like, the melanated people invented country music.
At the CMT,
We was making country music in Wakanda before.
Oh, we did create country music, so I know he's trying to troll, but we did create country music.
Jack Hash and Merle Haggard done stole the black man's country music.
here
It's like, all right, bro. It's so angry. There were so many black people there, sorry to say, but like so many black celebrities who have nothing to do with country music. And it's like, why? No disrespect to to the funky brothers of music. I love Earth, Wind and Fire, Run DMC, etc. But I mean, like, country music's different. Country music's different. It's not Wakanda.
Okay. So they love talking that Wakanda talk when it comes to us. We ain't got nothing to do with no damn Wakanda. Okay, yeah. Our Wakanda is here. We're foundational Black Americans, buddy. Our Wakanda is right here. All right? But listen. It's important for us to understand our culture. It's important for us to understand people trying to infiltrate our culture, bringing in tethers, bringing in other agendas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important for us to understand what they're doing and to sideswipe it and to sidestep it. Not let people infiltrate us with some of these other agendas. They always have to tether it on to us. Speaking of that, and I won't even say too much about this. As the saying goes, a picture says 1,000 words. This is Dwayne Wade and Gabby and their kids' dates. All right. These are the dates of their kids. One kid got a zaddy already. This is why when people start talking about intersectionality, we know what that means, so I'm not going to even speak too much on this. A picture says 1,000 words. I'll just show that and I'll leave that there. All right. I'll leave that there. Another picture that I saw right here. This looks like one of these alternative couples right here with a baby, and they had a birthday party or whatever with a crucified white Jesus. This looks like one of them, a stud couple with a baby, and the baby looks like, hey man, what the hell is going on? The baby knows something is wrong here. And I'm getting some non-FBA vibes on these two studs, by the way. Allegedly, I don't know what they are. Allegedly, I say allegedly, but right here, even the baby knows. This kid right here knows something ain't right. Family, boy, the white supremacists, boy, they orchestrate all types of numbers on us. They orchestrate all types of numbers and doozies on us, ladies and gentlemen. It's insane. And by the way, I talked about this on my social media. I talked to Bill Cosby on the phone last week. I talked to Bill Cosby on the phone. It was me, a couple other people on the phone. His spokesperson, I mistakenly said that Andrew Wyatt was his lawyer. Andrew's not his lawyer, he's a spokesperson. And we had a very great conversation. Shout out to Mr. Cosby, shout out to Sister Camille Cosby. I heard her in the background while I was talking to Mr. Cosby. Very nice brother, man. He was dropping some very heavy game. He's in good spirits, man. He's still very humorous, man. He was cracking jokes, man. We were chopping it up, had a very good conversation. Mr. Cosby was dropping some very heavy game about how people who promote black families and black family structures are usually targeted by the media. We were talking about the Will Smith slap and how, they were kind of looking for an angle to go in on Will Smith anyway, because Will did a movie and he won an Oscar for the movie, and the movie was really about black families. So they were really looking for an angle to get in on Will. So, Will kind of walked into that one. But Dr. Bill, yes, he's a doctor, but Dr. Bill Cosby is in very good spirits right now. Chopping up very good game. He's doing very, very good. And we had a very pleasing conversation. And we're going to talk again pretty soon. But shout out to Mr. Bill Cosby, Dr. Bill Cosby. I want him to keep his head up. We're still riding for him out here on the grassroots. His son, Ennis's birthday was a couple of days ago. So RIP, rest in power to Brother Ennis Cosby. And again, I'm not co-signing any of those false allegations. And I look at black people funny style for co-signing that. You believe anything white people tell you? I don't co-sign false allegations, especially with people who've been proven to be liars. You understand? So they rightfully threw that bogus case out, and I don't co-sign any black person getting bogus charges thrown on them. Nobody deserves that, especially black people. Yes, indeed. But anywho, you remember last week, speaking of non-FBA tethers, remember I put up a picture of them in one of these African countries. They tried to do some things with they put out a story that a mermaid washed up on the shore. They put up a story about a damn mermaid, and this mermaid looked questionable. I posted this the other day. They had this about a mermaid. They said a mermaid washed up on shore. They said this was in Cape Town, South Africa. So they said a mermaid washed up on shore. Let me play this. Hold on. They were asking, is it real or fake? So I'm like, my thing is, it could be real or it could be a hoax. My thing is, if you're gonna have a mermaid, if it's a hoax, how you gonna spend all that money? You spent all that money on a mechanical tail, and you spent $3 on some synthetic bundles. My thing is, how you gonna put all that money in a hoax? You made a mechanical tail, and you got a cheap ass Sally's Beauty Supply wig to put on the damn mermaid, and you messed the whole hoax up. Look at this. Now you know good and well you could have done better than this. You got a mechanical. You spent $500 on a mechanical tail, and $2.50 on some Auburn bundles. You got some Auburn bundles that don't even match. How dare you disrespect us with a hoax? But again, like I said, family, it could be real, because I heard there was another sighting, ladies and gentlemen. There was another sighting out here on the West Coast, by the way, of another mermaid, ladies and gentlemen. There was another mermaid sighting, from what I heard, and somebody sent a picture of this mermaid sighting. And I don't know, family. I'm out here in California, so I'm kind of scared. So there's another mermaid right here, and this mermaid washed up out on Venice Beach. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got to be careful out here. I'm just saying, if you go to the beach, the weather's getting warm. Be careful out here, because this mermaid has a bayang. So we got to be careful out here, ladies and gentlemen. It has some claws and a bayang. So family, this one looks poisonous. It has a poisonous bayang. So be careful out here on the beach with this one, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want you to get bit by a mermaid with a bayang. So please be careful out here, guys. It's dangerous out here. Watch your kids. Watch your kids, people. Please watch your children. Or it could be a merman. I don't know. The face is kind of strong. It might be a merman. So I got to respect the mermaid's pronouns, okay? I'm going to respect the mermaid's pronouns. It's a merman, probably. I don't know. So anyway, y'all, that's been today's broadcast. Go to Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. Get the baby registry stuff. Go to officialfba.com to get the maroon flag t-shirts, ladies and gentlemen. And go to eructosussy.com to get the Eructosussy shirts. And go to amazon.com to get my book, Foundational Black American Race Beta. It's been real, ladies and gentlemen, man. Much respect to you guys. Papi Akute and Lola Vuve to the fan.
Facts are the facts.
No, stop. No, don't ask me something and then talk over me when I answer it. If it's a good question, I'm gonna answer it. Come on, don't troll your way out of this thing, because we're gonna go there.
Yeah, go on.
I'm a West African. Why don't I get easy citizenship from any of those West African nations?
Okay, good question. Okay. The reason, I don't know. Okay, first of all, it's not wrong to say what you don't know that I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay,
there
but I can give you a reason.
There you go.
If you can let me speak.
I
Let me
know.
speak.
You said you just gave an answer. You said you don't.
No, but I'm gonna expand on it.
No.
I don't want
If you don't know, there's nothing to expand on. That means you
No,
don't know.
I'm gonna
So right now, you're about to babble. You don't know. So let me talk.
Your dictatorship.
I know we ain't African. We're not continental African, sir. That's why we don't get citizenship. We're not continental Nigeria.
Descent of African, Tariq. That's
Descendant of,
correct.
listen, everybody on the planet descended from Africa, sir. Everybody. So
But why you trying to say that you're from North America though? Why you trying to like
everybody descended
align
from
yourself a
Africa.
little bit with the indigenous Indian? Why
Every,
you try to align yourself with a little bit European admixture?
sir,
Which could be true,
slow,
but the predominant.
slow down. Slow down. You're not going to talk over me. Everybody descended from Africa. Why is it that we're the only group that's supposed to just hang on to centuries old African DNA while everyone else can enjoy their ethnogenesis? Why can't we enjoy our ethnogenesis? Go ahead.
Because because it's called the cultural genocide. When the Jews, if I'm allowed to say that, when they brought you guys here, they, and with the help of the white too, right, they did a cultural genocide. They wiped you guys culture away, but you guys somehow what they call preserve, like the dreads, like the braids. You guys kind of like eat like the beans, like the Louisiana cuisines, those still retain a little bit of African influences still, because
What?
slavery heavily influenced there, and the slavery there lasted longer than.
What? Slow it down. What Louisiana
Can I,
cuisines did we get from Africa? Name them.
like some of the cuisines in the South tend to contain a lot of African influence,
Like what?
like a lot of it. I can't name it at the top of my head, but
Name one. If you're gonna say something, you better show an example. Name one. What?
just search it up. There's a reason why there's Google,
Sorry,
right?
no. There's a reason why
My
you
point.
that you can't back up because it was a lie.
No, it's not. You can look it up and then fact
Not
check me
about
right now.
not about
I literally hold.
sir. If you say something, it's your job to prove what you're saying. You
But I'm not a machine, Tariq. We
no,
humans. I can't
no.
hold things.
And why you say something that you knew you were lying about?
That's why the information, I want to put it out there so you guys can go,
No,
double check.
no, you're just saying stuff, sir, which proves my.
Okay, we're all talk on this. Can I proceed?
So no, because if you say something and then I ask you to elaborate and you start babbling, that means you deliberately.
I'm not.
Sir.
Ask me about and I had to talk over you. You asked me about cuisines,
Right.
and I name you few.
No, you didn't. And I said, what foods
Okay,
are
the chili. Example, the chili. Okay, perfect example. The chili. Okay, it contains ground beef, tomato, and beans. Okay, if you look at West Africa and actually the rest of Africa, the sub-Saharan Africa, most of their cuisine, like their red sauce with the meat and the beans, they eat it with. Some of them eat it with rice. Some of them eat it with plantain. Some of them eat it with fufu.
What's red
It's
sauce
actually
out of? What's red sauce made out of?
red sauce is made from uh mostly tomato, obviously.
Tomatoes not to West Africa, sir.
But come on, like you talk about fruits specifically, like tomatoes are fruit.
Oh,
I don't.
goodness freaking
But
tomato.
why you want to focus on the tiny details? Are you not getting
I
the
need
general?
details. If you say you said it, sir. Tomatoes are
Okay,
indigenous to West Africa, sir.
that's not what we're saying, bro. Okay, listen. Tomato. Okay. What do you think tomato is from? What do you think?
Here.
North America.
Yeah.
So you say 500 years ago there was no tomato in Africa?
Tomatoes are not indigenous to West Africa, sir.
Indigenous. Okay. That's a clear distinction.
No,
So there were
brought they brought the tomatoes to West Africa from here.
no, I will happily disagree.
What you mean you disagree? It's either true or not true.
Because tomato was widely used across Africa because it was brought by the Muslims and the Moors, and East Africa, same thing. Ethiopia, there was tomato that were used in Ethiopia, in the Horn of Africa, in North Africa, and it reached all the way to the sub-Saharan Africa.
No, sir.
Or you're trying to say it otherwise.
Tomatoes are native to the Americas, sir.
Okay, I won't disagree with that, but are you suggesting?
Sir, Spanish explorers started to bring tomatoes to Europe, and then they brought it to Africa later. Before 500 years, there were no tomatoes in Africa, sir.
Okay, we don't want to get stuck on a little petty style, but could you address my main point that I asked earlier, which is why you guys try so hard to distance yourself from the actual African and try to shove that under the bus, that
Sir,
which is the fact that
sir,
clearly you guys
sir,
descended from Africa.
sir, listen. No one distanced themselves from Africa more than you. And
You clearly do. You do.
sir, you flee from Africa the first thing smoking. You're not even there now. You're in.
Okay,
You
like
flee.
last time, you
You
did
distance
personal attack.
yourself.
You're not gonna do personal
Sir,
attack to it.
no,
I don't
that's
want
not a
personal.
personal attack. Y'all distance yourself from Africa. We're not
I
from
just
there.
asked you a
No,
good question.
no. That's a projection. You're the ones fleeing the hell from Africa, trying to distance yourself. We're not from there. We're not continental Africans, sir. We're from Africa the same way everybody on the planet is from Africa. We're not continental Africans, sir. We haven't been in Africa for centuries. You're the one who hopped on an inner tube and got the hell up out of there, sir. That's not a personal,
All right,
that's a reality.
Tariq.
So you
Don't turn to Kim Jong.
projecting
I know.
your own hatred and disdain for Africa onto us. You hate your homeland. You can't stand your homeland, sir. Let's keep it a buck. Let me get my brother Mikhail in here. Let me get.
But I wasn't done talking. Don't turn to Kim Jong Un, Tariq. Like, can I speak?
Okay.
Like, respect.
Okay, I'm gonna get my brother Mikhail. I'm not turning into Keith.
Yeah, you can bring your wingman, but let me give me
But no,
give me a little.
no. I want to have him bring some clarity. I want to have him bring some more clarity to it.
Yeah, you guys can both team on me, but at least let me.
Nobody's beating up on you. Just facts. If you say something, we need people who's going to correct.
I just one question.
Oh
Tariq,
no. Slow down.
But you're calling a reinforcement.
No, not reinforcement. This is a conversation.
It's clear. Okay, go on.
All right, brother Mikhail, hop in, sir.
Great Minister of Code.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
He
Brother
said,
Forzier.
yeah.
What you got to say to me? Are you gonna address my point, or are you just gonna like Tariq?
Yeah, I'm gonna address your point. How
Are you gonna
long?
draw me?
How long were the Somalis dominated and occupied by the Arab sultanates? How long, sir?
You're wrong, sir.
I asked you a question. How long did the Arabs control Somalia? That's a simple question,
Perfect
sir.
question. Perfect question. Unlike you guys,
How long?
I will answer, but don't meet me and don't rush me, okay?
How long? Just answer the question. How long?
Okay, you're constantly talking over me. Can I answer
It'll take you 5 seconds. Just answer the question, sir.
There were 0 Arab sultanates, and all the sultanates in the Horn of Africa were indigenously Somali. All the sultanates. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone knows, and they're very smart people in this room, sir. We're scholars. In fact, many of us are genius. We know that the Arabs controlled Somali from the Middle Ages to the early modern period, meaning 19th century, sir. These are facts. Now, let me ask you a question.
You can call it fact and proceed, but
many of your people carry the genetic markers, I would even say the haplogroup, R and J. Do you know what that means, sir?
No, explain yourself. I'm not into the genetic, but explain it.
That's okay.
You're trying to say
I'll help you with that. It means that many of you people are genetically Arab, and your minds are Arabized.
Can I tell you?
Did you know that?
You can spell bunch of and then cut me off and draw me, but can I fact check you?
So my next question is, are you more? Do you have more in common with the so-called Ethiopians and Eritreans, or the Yemenites?
Can I speak?
I asked you a question.
You just made a point.
Do you have more in common, sir, with the so-called Ethiopians, the people of Djibouti, the people of Eritrea, or the Yemenites? I asked you a question, sir. Answer the question. Just answer the question.
You made a bold claim. I just want to address, and then you can proceed.
I asked you a question.
First, but can I just address that one point?
Hurry.
Which is, said Somalis are mixed with Arabs. You're clearly wrong. If you know the Horn of Africa, which you acted like you are, okay? And I don't.
So what?
I
So
don't want.
what? So what? So what does haplo? What does haplo group J and haplo
No,
group R mean?
African.
Who carries
That
that haplo group, sir?
everyone kind of can go search it up. The Somali genetic phenotype. I mean DNA, whatever, right? You can trace it.
Okay, so you're stuttering and stammering, and you're wasting my time. But last question: what does Somali mean?
I fact checked you, then you want to run away from the point.
I asked you a question. What does Somali mean, sir?
Somali means Somali. It derived from the word Somali, and that was a figure that the Somali people descended from.
Okay, sir. All right. Okay.
Yeah. See how I'm answering you guys' questions?
Somali means go milk. So go milk your camel. All right. Thank you, there, brother. I'll land, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Love you all.
There you go.
No, you're welcome. So Tariq, you gonna answer my point, or you gonna drop me?
No. Okay. What's your point? What's your point again, sir?
Yeah, it's just the question that you've been struggling with, which is why you guys try to not claim West Africa, but tend to claim American Indians and some of the European admixture that you guys have had in the.
We claim land because this is the land that we're on, and we claim this country because this is the country that we built and we've cultivated the culture of. We are the only true Americans. Other groups brought in other cultures. We did not. We did not immigrate here.
But why you guys call yourself African American, but the Europeans don't call themselves European Americans?
We don't.
In a sense, they're trying to act like the land belongs to them more than you guys, and they're trying to paint you guys as, migrants in a way when they those connotations.
God damn. We do not use the term African American. We're getting away with that. The term African American was given to us in 1988 by the Democrats through Jesse Jackson to make us comparable to immigrants. We are not using that term. We are using the term foundational Black American because we are foundational to the United States, sir. Why would we claim Africa? Why would we claim Africa? And if we would claim Africa, that would mean everybody else on the planet would have to claim Africa, right?
Okay, Tariq, the reason why you gotta claim Africa is because it's the continent that you descended from, and secondly, the FBA created the term foundational Black America, but prior to that, the most popular what they call term was African American, which is widely used in the media, in the social life, and you guys normalized it, and all of a sudden the FBA trying to make it seem like, oh, that's a bad connotation, like, or that's a bad word. Like, in a way, you're contradicting yourself.
No, not, sir. There's a reason why the dominant society pushed the term African American to make us comparable to immigrants. Let me ask you this.
Go on.
Why is it so important to you that we acknowledge Africa? Why is it so important to you?
Perfect question, and don't cut me off. If, you hear, because I'm not one of those racist ones, okay? Because I want that. I want the propaganda picture that the American machine makes about Africa to be washed from you guys' head. And actually, when Africa is prosperous and peaceful enough for you guys to come travel to, I want you guys to come travel and explore the continent that you guys actually descended from, with peace and harmony, and actually learn from the culture and the locals, bro.
That's to go over there so bad.
But you distance yourself from that.
So why do you want us to go over there so bad?
Say it again.
Why do you want foundational Black Americans to go over there so badly?
Because that's what they call Malcolm X wanted. That's what MLK, whatever his name is, wanted. That's what Muhammad Ali wanted. That's what all the good Black African American that are not corrupted by the Jews and the degeneracy that goes on today wanted.
True. That wasn't true.
No, that is actually
Malcolm
true.
X was not, let's all pack up and move to Africa.
Bro, he wanted to Nigeria. He wanted to Egypt. He
visited. No. No, hold on. Dr. King wasn't doing that. No, you just lying on everybody. Dr. King wasn't talking about packing up going to Africa. Dr. King was talking about getting reparations over here. Dr. King talked about how important we were to the United States. He was talking about getting our check. Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, they weren't talking about packing up, moving to Africa. They weren't talking, yeah, they visited. They were both students of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not a Pan-Africanist. Don't let anybody tell that lie. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not a Pan-Africanist. He really didn't speak on Africa like that. Nor did he teach the brothers and sisters in the nation to speak like that, to make it seem like we got to be on some Pan-Africanism stuff. No. So, sorry, just don't be up here saying stuff. All right, some of us know better. Just don't be. We know history, sir. But go ahead. Just wanted to.
I heard you. But my point is the thing that I'm presenting, and the thing that I'm saying, is it not coherent? Is it what I want for the African, what they call, American? Is it not coherent? Is it not what they call viable? Is it not nice to actually go see where you guys descended from? And you seem to have a problem with it. And do you mind expanding on it?
Where did we descend from in Africa?
I don't want to confine you to one location, but
generic Africa,
the whole continent.
Generic Africans. We're just not generic Africans, sir.
I know you're not. But
aren't you
some of the phenotype?
Hold down. Aren't you in Minnesota? You're in Minnesota right now, right?
No, I'm not. I'm from Canada. I told you that.
But I thought, I thought it was either Minnesota or Canada. How come you ain't over there enjoying all of that African beauty?
I go yearly. I'm born into Tank. I'm born into a very successful family.
I know. You got to go to your mansions and all that. Okay, let me get Love I Am. Let me get Love I Am again. Love I Am. Come deal with this, sister.
What do you think the indigenous Americans look like?
Okay, I need some reinforcement.
What do you think the ancient indigenous Americans look like? Because you're trying to get him to answer a question that you view and perceive as a valid one, and we don't necessarily even view it as a valid one. So first you must superimpose that perspective, and then you want us to answer a question that we haven't. Then you want us to ask. Then you want us to. You are asking us to answer a question that only you view as a valid one. So what did you think the indigenous ancient America looked like?
Okay. I think they didn't look like. Of course, there's and if you don't mind, there's indigenous or Asian people, which the Native American are actually from Siberia. If you believe in the land bridge and all that, the Bering Strait and all that, what they call science stuff. If you believe in that,
just disqualified that population. You just disqualified them from being indigenous. So let's start again. Hold on. I'm sorry. You denoted Siberia, so you've already disqualified them. So I'm asking you, what do you believe that the indigenous ancient American people look like?
I didn't get to make my point. You just interrupted me, if you don't mind. So my point is, the native, of course, you can make the claim that, maybe since the native had a little white African nose, big nostrils and all that, the African features, you can make the claim that they're African, but factually they're not. They were just indigenous Native American that migrated all the way from Siberia and northeastern Russia, the most eastern part of Russia. Okay, me personally, I don't believe, and genetically, the information that are found about their genetics support me also. So I don't think they were Africans. I think they were Native Americans. That's my answer.
Do you know when the term Native American came into usage? What century?
Not necessarily. You can tell me.
It was in the 1800s is when that term was applicable to those groups. So you didn't answer my question though. I just asked you, phenotypically, what do you think the indigenous ancient American people look like? It's really a simple question.
Yeah, I think I just touched on that. I think they were indigenous Native Americans, but
I'm asking you skin. I'm asking you hue. I'm asking you phenotype. And then once you answer that, I'm going to ask you a second question of, how do you know?
Okay, save that second question. But your first question, how what they call, who do they look like? I think they look like Southeast Asian. Like you see some Filipinos that have wide nostrils or wide nose, just like Africans.
Sir, what do you think the original population of the Philippines look like, sir? What does the ancient population of the Philippine look like?
I think they had some African features
because they were called Negrito. They were called Negritos, by the way. They were Negritos, by the way. Negritos.
Genetically, they're not African though.
Okay, so the Negritos are not African, but the Negroes are African, is what you're saying.
The Negroes and the what they call the Bantu Africans or the West African specifically.
Negro is not synonymous with Bantu. I'm sorry, I came up to give a submission. I didn't want to talk to him. I'm not trying to.
Oh, your question. That's why you know.
No, it's just that I don't care. You're from Somalia.
See?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Can I please give my contribution without him, Tariq? Please.
Go ahead. Dude.
I'm sorry. I don't have any bandwidth for it. I apologize if you want it. I don't know what your intended purpose was. Yeah, I was just gonna bring to the conversation that the term Africa was not applied to the continent, the entire continent, until the 17th century. So prior to that, there was no single homogenous identity that melanated persons were operating under prior to colonization. With that being said, dark races are the original inhabitants of every continental landmass, from the Americas, Eurasia, and Africa, and Australia. And so I'm asking him because there's some fallacy. All the original ancient populations were melanated. So I think that they have something else in mind. And I think that that comes from a McGraw-Hill educational system. And with that being said, so Africa is being erroneously applied to particular dark races. That is not true. And then also too, Black is being erroneously applied in a sense that these were dark races. That's the only objectively true fact. Outside of that, though, you had these different populations that you knew them by what they called themselves. And so, yeah, but when we're talking about the ancient indigenous population in America, there are evidences that there was civilization that the modern Native American has no connection to. And there was a woman on the stage. I don't want her submission to go devalued or overlooked because the Somali is centering himself. But she stated that there was no evidence that our ancestors were taught how to cultivate the land here in America. And that's because we already had that skill set, okay? And there is evidence that other groups were taught how to cultivate land, and that's including the European immigrants that migrated subsequently. So he's trying to superimpose his consciousness, but these people have to stay in their lane and understand that they don't inform our perspective. So all they have is an opinion. It's not like you don't know more than we know as it pertains to ourselves. So even when you ask a question that centers Africa, such as why are you trying to disassociate yourself? No, we're trying to prioritize ourselves. And that doesn't require us to have any consciousness applied towards any group other than ourselves. We're not thinking about them when we're worried about ourselves. And that's the difference between what we're doing, which is lineage-based movement. So that requires us to know our lineage, and what you are trying to do when you come to this stage. And I'm sorry, but we don't know you.
There you go.
I know you don't. And I respect most of the things that you say. I agree with it. Okay, I agree with it. I'm not disagreeing with you. But that last part, of course, it seems all nice and all of that. But I wouldn't have problem with it if you prioritize your people and don't actually try to claim other people, which you don't tend to do. Because most of the FBS actually
we claim ourselves. We're not claiming other people. That's the thing. We're claiming ourselves. We don't have to claim other people. Our history is deeply rooted and rich and full of culture. No other group has the same type of cultural capital that foundational Black Americans have. We don't have to claim anything else. We're claiming our lineage. This is our homeland. This is our country that we built from scratch. We created all of the cultural elements of it. We had a footprint in almost all of the inventions. We don't have to claim anybody else. This is our joint. You're the one seemingly desperate to.
Okay, Tariq, I don't disagree with you, brother. Listen, a lot of the FBS tend to do is that they claim the Native American more than the